No, Jester, I was just thinking.
Me too.
We've seen these teams before, haven't we?
I think so.
Yeah. Meow?
Yesterday, same teams,
Yeah, Meow.
same map,
No.
same round.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome to Qualifier 4. We're here again. This time we're going to watch Meow and No duke it out in their round of 28. This is for their final ambitions to see who can make it into the finals. Like we said, we covered these teams before. Meow being particularly cute because they even got a happy face on their name. But yeah, and then we got Gnome and Omen, just short form, No, who we've also covered. I'm excited to see both of them because they both played very well yesterday, and that's when we saw them. So
I remember that game.
Yeah,
very close.
So let's see if who can bring it up in this case, and whether or not they can continue onward.
A fun thing, because we have so many teams. We actually had Team Meow and then Team Mew yesterday. And
yeah,
we were making comments just like, we need to do both of these. And then we had Team Ape and Ape Team. And like our admins, I mean, they're on top of everything. But sometimes just like we look for the replay. And it's like, nope, that's the wrong replay. But we had to go find the other Ape or the other Meow. Or, yeah. It's been fun times doing this entire tournament. Like we've learned a lot about adminning, a lot about the casting, a lot about some new rising talent. Because, you know, Team Ape is in there, LAG. They all advanced to the qualifiers. Who knows? Maybe Meow, maybe No. They're going to make a good comeback today.
Well, either way, one of them has to go home today, and this will be the last that we hear of them for a while.
Them, yeah.
The other one continuing on in this tournament. Let's go ahead and take a look at the picks.
Sure.
For Team Meow, we've got the Scoop of Justice, Clunk, and Coco Nebulon. On Team No, we've got Lone Star, Genji, and Raylan.
No.
So 6 completely different knots, 2 completely different teams. This is the first in a little while. Like, we usually see a lot of the same knots come out. In this case, we see some popular ones, but 6 very different popular ones. And, well, with the exception of Genji. Raylan we see a lot. Lone Star we see a bunch. Clunk and Scoop we've seen a ton, and as well as Coco.
I wouldn't say we've seen Raylan a bunch. Natapop was basically like the big guy for it yesterday.
That's true.
Don't really think they used Raylan outside of that.
Maybe
one game. Maybe one game. But,
maybe one.
You know, Raylan and Coco, like, put on the opposite sides. They're both going to be used for the same reason, you know, bigger burst damage, or we're going to go into a bit more auto attacks, maybe a bit split pushy. One thing that No has going for them is that is a powerful push team between them. Like the Genji with the auto attacks, the Lone Star Dynamite Bull auto attacks, and at the same time, we can cocoon into a flying droid, we can time rift into a flying droid. The split push potential here is actually phenomenal.
Yeah, all you need to do is cocoon one of the droids and toss out your time rift to kill off the other droid and then produce another hummingbird. You have 2 hummingbirds, 2 droids marching in one lane.
That's a powerful thing.
And you're there for all of a second.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably fast.
Jump down, throw it down, go up, get a kill.
Yeah, and Meow's going to have to work really hard to try to counter that. On the other hand, though, Meow, like you said, lots of burst. Between the Clunk and the hammers out of Scoop, that's going to be a lot of damage potential. Not to mention, you know, Lightning Ball. If we decide to go into Knockback Ball or something like that on
I think we've seen more hands builds than ball builds in this tournament.
To be fair, we saw a lot of buckets yesterday, so buckets favoring that lifesteal, but didn't end up winning their team any favors.
But even last match, Bets, he put a Superconductor and Blaze build.
Yeah, he did, and the Blaze was more just a build into the dots against the Leon.
It wasn't a bad choice. There was the 2 melees, as you said. They had to, you know, do a lot of zone control. They had to do a lot of that. But here, because we got 3 ranged, if you go a hand build from Meow into this, and you can't get close or you get zoned out, you're not going to be an effective Coco.
And that's going to be doubly true because Time Rift stops that, Cocoon stops that, and Bull stops that. So why don't we go ahead, see how these teams bounce off of one another in this 128 round best of 1 series on Aiguillon yet again.
So Meow going to be representing here on the left, or sorry, Meow is going to be here on. Yeah, I can't. I'm just going to let you do it.
On the red team, we got Blah Monster being playing the Clunk. We've got Coco being played by Cavol Boy. And Scoop being played by the Epic One.
Welcome back to the stream, Red.
Exactly. On the blue team, we got the Spinorism playing Lone Star. We have Kuko playing the Death Prophet Genji, and Raylan being played by Skull.
Was it Kuko yesterday, or did he get a new name?
Kuko was playing a Vinny and Spike yesterday, if I recall correctly.
I remember Skull. I remember the Spinorism because he's not the Spoonerism. He is the Spoonerism, but all right. So either way, these guys are going to duke it out a little bit here. Level 1, some piggy banks all around. 5 piggy banks to start. Just the Lone Star really opting not to, but he does have both of his abilities ready to go. With the Dynamite, with that Bull, and we'll have to see. Is it going to be a bit more of a team fight? Or is it going to be a bit more of a split push here from Blue?
Blue definitely has that split push potential, and I think that they would be unwise not to use that. Red team has a very strong team fight ability between the Clunk and the Scoop. Like, the two of them very strong together, as well as Coco. If they can split them up, they will be much less effective together. The Invis being picked up by the Spinorism right out of the gate, so that's good for them. He has access to Bull. He does have both of his base abilities, so if Red gets a little bit too cocky, like they are right here, out comes the Bull. It's going to push the Clunk right into his teammate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Boy going to end up getting a Lightning Ball and the first blood, although not entirely on purpose.
Spinorism didn't really do his team any favors. I mean, with the Bull, a lot of the time you are going to get that mentality, oh, okay, they're pushing up to my tower, I can bull them into it, tower will do a lot of damage, maybe we can get a kill. But when you're going to be pushing Blah Monster into it with a self-destruct, and you got two squishies on your team, like the Genji, like the Raylan, you're not going to do them any favors. And as we saw, we got that first blood. It was the explode into, I think it was the Lightning Ball. Could have actually been a Blaze Tick. But either way, first blood is going to go the way of Meow. And yeah, we'll have to see if they can keep that up. Maybe it will turn into a 4v2 by the end of it.
Yeah, and like that's the one problem in that fight, was that it's just, I don't think that they meant to have that happen at all. I mean, obviously not. They got a kill on themselves. But the Bull is still a very strong tool, and I don't think that he was unwise to use it. Just his teammate, unfortunately, in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that cost him the life. It almost happened here again, but the team played a little bit better around it. If Genji, if Kuko ends up picking up, like, say, Blessing or something like that, they can really heavily minimize the amount of damage that Explode is going to do. And if he lands a good Cocoon, well, so much the better in that case as well. They can Cocoon before the Explode goes off. So.
But we haven't been seeing a lot of Genji play with early Cocoons. It's always been about his auto attacks or early Blessings. Early Cocoon is definitely something we have been seeing. But so early Cocoon and the auto attacks, I mean, already we've got that Storm Drum. You can see it there just ticking away from Kuko. But an early Blessing is not something that we've typically seen.
No, it's not, which I find maybe is an error. It's one of those things that I really like picking up early on Genji. Not super early, mind you. You do need that left click. He needs to farm somehow, and that left click is the main way to do it. But picking up Blessing is an easy way to just say, you know what, your team for the next few seconds only does 80% of the damage that it normally would. It's going to do a lot less. I mean, and again, something like an Explode, that can mean the difference between life and death, very much so. And
right.
Yeah, against the burst-heavy team in general, that might be a good idea.
I mean, it's a great tool, but it comes down to team communication. Like, you have to really be one with your team in that regard, because those Bulls can be a curse. Blessing can be a curse. Blah Monster, though, only going to hit creeps, though, with that Explode. He's going to have to come back in here with that bite. He will get it. Nice hammer there at the end on top of Kuko, but no kind of big follow-up. So, it comes down to, are we going to use the Bulls to try to trap people, or are we going to use them to push them away? If you want to push them away, don't need a Blessing. If you want to try to trap them and there's going to be people there, well, yeah, you might want to start mentioning something about a Blessing.
Absolutely. And I think in this case they are going to want to use the Bull to gank. Like, they do want those kills being very valuable sources of income, and
map presence.
And map presence especially, yeah. So they'd be unwise not to use them for ganking, but you're right, they do have to be careful about that Explode. If Blah Monster's the one that's getting pushed, you have to know that the cannonball is coming.
The cannonball. Oh, the Invis Caveau did not hit with the ball. That would have been an easy kill there on top of the butterfly, but Skull's there going to be in quick pursuit, doesn't actually have that snipe ready to go, and there it is. Now he's just going to be able to push out the lane a little bit. Haven't seen the butterflies, the flying droids. Well, I kind of like actually calling them butterflies. Either haven't seen the flying droids from either Skull or Kuko, so I think they're a bit more concerned about their team fight at this point. Yeah,
and one thing to keep in mind with split push is that early game, those droids don't do as much as you'd like them to. The Spinorism,
the body blocks.
The body block and the Blaze and the Lightning Ball to finish it all off, so that's going to be painful. Blah Monster just going to get away from whatever situation arised up on top. Probably some combination of Genji.
The Lone Star has boots, but I didn't see him triple jumping there.
No, the Lone Star does not have boots.
Those aren't boots?
Those are Trinamites.
Oh, sorry.
So he does have
glasses on here.
Yeah, he's got Dynamite going, good to go for pushing,
so
for ganking, and everything else. But it's still difficult to get out of an area like that. He was trapped in the smaller area down there, and on top of that, he was slowed by the Blaze.
Yeah, but gravity still works.
Yeah, but slow
you should
does
be able to stay in the air
size.
higher. Like, if you get body blocked by Coco and you have triple jump, which you didn't in this case, and she successfully does that, well, you just got outplayed.
Yeah, that's true. But again, Blaze does shorten the jump distance.
That hit Blah, but it didn't hit the creeps.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Oh, well. Angles.
angles and sizes. Oh, the spinner isn't coming in with a bull. That's going to end up hitting the epic one right into the tower.
Oh,
but
good dodge.
Good dodge. Managed to duck into the bunker down there and saved himself. So
I think that's what they want to do with spinners instead of bringing a clunk into it. If they can get not a clunk and throw him into a tower and they got that follow up, easy kills. But yeah, so far haven't really seen that. In fact, we're still looking for those easy kills here from Team No. They are down 2-0, 6 minutes in. In terms of cash and positioning, I mean, the Lone Star, he has been pushing out into the bottom fairly significantly. He has been racking up some of that tower damage. But overall, I mean, it is basically Meow's game this early.
Yeah, they're the only one with kills at the moment. It's 7 minutes into this game.
They got the money advantage.
Yeah, they do have the money advantage. But a couple of things that are starting to turn the tide there. That was almost a double kill for Team Meow. And what ended up happening instead? Everybody lived. Why?
Sense.
Genji's picked up Blessing.
So he did actually pick it up.
Yeah, he ended up picking it up. So he must have heard me in the times of the voids of space or something. He heard it in the past.
There's a time rift Eddie here somewhere, and he could hear you 3
Yeah, it's all my
ago.
fault. This has nothing to do with him being a smart player.
Well, this game was played, what, 3 hours ago-ish?
Something
2
like
hours-ish?
Like
somewhere around there. Yeah.
But either way, he picks up Blessing, so that's something that I definitely can recommend in a situation like this.
Nice
Blah Monster
rift.
taking a lot of damage from that time rift. Now maybe in a rough spot, but the Bite's going to come out and just end up saving him. In return, though, Skull going to end up dodging everything. Neo from the Matrix here.
Here's the Blessing.
And out comes the bull, Kabul Boy, in a bad spot, gets sniped, gets shot down.
Well played.
Fastest gun in the West, the Spinnerism, managing to pick up the kill. So putting themselves on the board 8 minutes into this game, we are now 2-1. And that was a much-needed kill that they really wanted. They wanted that income, and they finally got it.
Yeah. Kavo Boy, as soon as he missed that ball, he should have just retreated.
Yep, but he missed it and jumped right in.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not wise.
So once again, we see one of the strengths here of the Lone Star. You don't have anyone contesting a lane. He's going to push it out with the bull, the dynamite, get off some of that tower damage, and tower damage is starting to not be insignificant at this point. If you can land more and more dynamites, and right now you do got the scoop down there just chasing him off, and now we're going to regroup into the top. The range aspect here from Team No is actually really significant.
It is, and it's proving to be kind of the undoing of Team Meow here as they are trying to get super close and trying to do things, and they can keep getting pushed out and zoned out by any manner of different things, like between the bull, the time rift, and now the Blessing on Genji kind of minimizing what damage they do manage to land. It now even has heal on it, so yeah, even used reactively, it's very powerful. Yeah, it's a poor man's Voltar.
But so, again, from safety with those snipes, from safety with dynamites, and well, that's pretty good. And the Bulls, we are zoning out this this big melee gank squad very heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. Kavoboy just barely managing to survive the time rift and the turret damage and everything else. Meanwhile, we've got the Spinnerism and his team just slowly racking up whatever farm they can manage. They're pushing out as well. They're playing it very safe. They're not getting too aggressive if they don't have to. See, even there, the bull was used to push the clunk away, and now they're running away. The Blessing coming out to really minimize the damage. 375 instead of the full 500 that normally would have come out. Now Kuko, though, running for his life. He's running from the Blessing. He's going to end up getting caught out by Bite and Hammer. So there, down goes him. The Spinnerism trying to go in for the bull push, but it's not going to end up living long enough to actually push anything. The Spinnerism now going down to the missiles, and now Blah Monster getting caught out in a time rift. So will the Epic one. The Epic one taking a ton of turret damage and rift damage, but he'll end up surviving. And now it's a 3-4-2.
Skull's invis.
Yeah, Skull's invis, and out comes the snipe, pushing people back into it, putting out the time rift. The Epic one taking a lot of damage. He's getting chased down, and he's going to end up going down. Now Skull has to run for his life. And
Blah!
What? No, Blah Monster
did not.
He fell down the hole that the Raylan jumped out of, and that was a misprediction on his part. Skull ending up getting at least 1 kill out of that. So something to be said. Not the best engagement out of them, but they at least tried. Now Blah Monster taking a lot of damage.
If he gets out
of there, and it looks like he will, the bike landing, so now he'll be safe.
What Raylan should have done is, instead of dropping down to chase, should have ran to the other drop down area here with a time rift.
Yeah, with a time rift.
I think that would have secured a kill.
Yeah, that might have secured the kill. That would have been a very strong way to do things, and that'll be a second kill all told for. No. For the team on the referee team. No, thank you. But it's still 4-2. Still in favor of Meow.
It's in flavor of Meow.
It's in flavor of Meow. Yeah. And Kavoboy taking a.
He had to have known. What? Lone Star? What are you doing, bro?
Uh-oh, Blaumonster coming in, but Blaumonster's explode not going to end up doing very much, if anything at all. Skull getting hammered down, so his snipe going to end up hitting Blaumonster? Guess not. Blaumonster going to get a bite off, and he'll be more or less healthy again, and nothing's going to end up happening there.
I'm surprised that Lone Star decided to actually run from that. Triple dynamite to the face would have been the end of Coco.
Yeah, and that was really weird. The hammer came out and forced someone to fall down the middle, but I don't know exactly who. Oh, out comes the hammer. Then they explode, but it's going to end up being slowed down by the time rift, proving to be Blaumonster's bane in this game.
We've seen that before, actually, in some of these matches with the time rift zoning. Oh, you are a brave man, Skull, right there, turning around to get that snipe up. One ball from Kavo would have been the end of it there. We don't have snare bite yet, do we?
We do not have snare bite by the look of things.
That is
we do have missiles, though. So
yeah, no, I've seen the missiles.
Yeah, opting to go for missile damage instead, probably a wise decision considering that Blessing is up and running. Yeah, well, if
snare bite will ensure detonations.
Yes, but the detonations are going to be doing so much less damage.
Only if there's a Kuko.
Yeah,
only if there's a Kuko. There's been several of these that have landed without Kuko, or sorry, should have landed, and Kuko wasn't there, but we couldn't because we don't have a snare bite.
And we also have time rift.
Well, apparently he's going to go with your wise decision and continue going the auto attack instead of the snare bite. Well, maybe it's just me.
No, maybe it is just you, but so far, Kavo Boy just managing to get out there. And I can see
missiles are deadly.
Yeah, I can see the benefit of getting snare bite though. It would allow everybody to chase a lot better and to guarantee kills. And even if it isn't kills that they're managing to get right now, even if they're having a hard time doing that, they do end up getting a turret. So that's something. There's something to be said for that. Red team, wow, epic bullpen.
Skull's body blocking.
Skull's body blocking to what end, though? He ends up going down to missiles, but Kuko picking up the epic one as a kill in return. So that's 5-3 now, and the Invis now up and running. So someone's going to pick that up. The Spinnerism going to end up picking that up. Blaumonster going to do very minor damage to Kuko as he puts up his blessing with the increased shield.
So I guess that they've realized, that Blaumonster, he just can't get in there for those zones, so he's not going to go for the explodes. He's going to go for the auto attacks, which, as you said, is probably a wise decision, but I'm just a big favorite here of snare bite into explodes, especially on this map. With the invis, with those drop downs, you can use it to great effect, and you just got to time it so that it doesn't hit a time rift. But
yeah,
I mean the bit more of a safer route, a bit more of a countenance to the range to get your own range ups and double missiles and a little bit more damage on those auto attacks. I mean, Clunk can now, given the opportunity, push down turrets like a beast.
And I think that's what they're going for. They're deciding to go for an objective-based game. Whoa, the explode coming out. It's going to end up hitting 2 people on the other team, but the Blessing managing to survive. Help them survive. Skull now taking a ton of damage. It's only one lightning bolt to kill any one of them, really. Kavobo going for it. He's going to end up picking off Kuko on the back end. Kuko unable to juke it. So that's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. And it's going to be maybe a turret as well, by the look of things. Yep,
I'm really kind of surprised that Kavo here didn't go for a bit more of a ball build. Oh, that's a really good ball. That should be the end of Skull, but because there's no turret down there. No, but the Jukesies come out. One more. Oop, that's the wrong way. One more ball will be actually finishing it off. I still think Skull's dead. I don't think he can actually out-juke this, but it's going to make a heck of a wild goose chase out of it. Yeah, and he's distracting everybody. The timer is going to come out and stop Kavoboy from even moving. The hammer, not long range enough to... Props to Skull right there, man.
Yeah, that was a pretty epic escape out of Skull.
Well.
Yeah, very well played.
Conversely, though, I don't think Meow played it very well.
No, so. Kavoboy getting caught out there when he really shouldn't have been. Kuko taking a lightning ball to the face, though dodging the hammer.
Again, Kavoboy definitely went hands build. Look at checking out his upgrades. He does have the knockback ball, though. And we saw that actually used to effect to not kill the Skull. But, a hands build here, I said it back in draft, if you can't get in because of the zoning, you're not going to be an effective Coco. But Coco's 3-1 with 68 droids, so, apparently I'm just not on top of my game today.
Well, I think you're pretty on top of your game if it makes you feel any better.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm just more surprised that, we didn't go into the explode, we didn't go into the ball builds. Raylan is a perfect target for balls. Believe it or not, that sounds weird. But believe it or not, she starts out a snipe, you throw out a ball, she can't avoid it.
Yeah, she really can't, and that's the problem with being one of those immobile characters, a good chunk of your game. Just the snipe alone is a really risky proposition. Out comes Blaumonster with the explode. It's going to end up hitting nobody, but so will the bull. If that bullet landed, that would have been an easy double kill. Yeah. The epic one and Kavoboy managing to escape by the hooves of a bull at the very most.
It behooved them.
It would behoove them to have died there, so it's a good thing that they didn't.
The puns.
The puns. I love them.
So yeah, a ball with damage and knockback into, you knock them forward, the Raylan can't move, you knock it forward into a snare bite and explode. That's what I was expecting.
That lightning ball saved the 2 members on Team No. Kuko and Skull should have died there.
Would have killed him if it was max damage. Well, it would have killed Skull.
Yeah, it would have killed Skull in that case, or in Kuko possibly as well. But
come back to us, Kavoy.
If only that knockback ball hadn't tossed them like
what
a while to the right. Yeah, everybody just kind of stopped for a second.
Kuko's blessing saved his life right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuko's blessing is a very strong ability, very important ability.
Blue got top tower.
Ooh, that time rift into the snipe, into more time rift. Blah Monster taking a ton of damage. Skull's going to go down, but so will Blah Monster at the end. So a 1-for-1 exchange, and. We'll see what. Wow, Kuko, very aggressive little Genji as he tries to go after a full HP scoop with nothing but a couple of bars of HP himself. So
but he's got a spinnerism there.
He's got a spinnerism and access to blessing when he needs it. So
Dynamite to the face, going to be trying to push out this lane. They did lose out top and bottom, but the good news is on the back of that, No and all those droids were able to actually get out the top. So now they're going to be making a case here for a little bit on the bottom. Bull's going to come in, damage, auto attacks, Dynamite. Not entirely too sure they'll actually take it, but you know, damage was done.
Yeah, damage has been done, and that's important at the stage where they don't have any. Well, they have got 1 turret, but they could definitely use the second one to put them on even keel with Team Meow. And,
that's not a blaze ball, is it? That's damage.
I think so. Skull going to probably end up getting picked off here, but for a turret, that might be a worthwhile trade. Turrets don't respawn, and they're worth more money. So that's
yeah, we had that conversation yesterday. If you trade your life for a turret, well, you respawn and the turret doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I call that worth. Especially if you're behind in the solar, which is the case here for Team No.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're behind in a big way. Each one of them only has 1 kill. Raylan sporting 4 deaths to go with that. Kuko getting away. Well played with that blessing as well. You know, it's got speed up on the blessing now as well as shield and heal. So
I was actually afraid that he was going to die right there. He just kept taking auto attack after auto attack.
But he ended up surviving.
He did.
He outspeeded them.
As you said, he's a tough little critter. But he's
also
also
when you add the Book of Froggy G to your blessing, it's going to be something useful.
Getting out the hood.
Getting out the hood, yeah.
Book of Froggy G.
It's a really good upgrade.
Good read, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's great. Well, it's a great read, but on top of that, it's an excellent upgrade on a character that is otherwise incredibly immobile and heavily subject to being killed off because of that. Oh, out comes the explode, and it doesn't. What? That blessing mattered in a big way as Kuko ends up saving himself and his teammate from the explode. Even if it was just a 500 damage explode, that could have gotten a double kill had it not been for that blessing.
It is base. Yeah.
Yep, base explode.
We have nothing else.
So maybe that's making a case for that explode damage.
Looking at Raylan, still have no droids. No flying droids.
Yeah, no
I'm
flying droids.
I'm actually really surprised we didn't take advantage of the double flying droid.
Yeah, to be fair, they do have a decent amount of creep clearing, so I can see why. Oh, out comes the bull into the time rift. Down he goes. Blah Monster's explode. Going to end up hitting nobody. And he's now down to about half. He's being chased. He's being surrounded. Out comes the snipe. Kuko looking to maybe get off a cocoon. There it is. And now out comes the bull to push him the wrong way. So Blah Monster going to have to play it a little bit safe. He's juking down here now. Out, get out of the hood. Being useful, but Blah Monster might just end up surviving this. And yeah, he's going to end up getting away just barely. Now Kavo Boy going to go ahead and tell everybody to go away, get off of my friend, and clear out some lanes. Lifesteal hands while we're at it.
He went full hands build before he started going into. He has a range ball, knockback, and double damage on it. The range ball, I suppose, but there's no Heavenly Blaze to it, so it's really just kind of a last resort sniping tool.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, it's also an initiation tool because of that knockback. So if you can get it behind somebody with the increased speed and range, that's a good way to initiate from a distance, just in case if you don't have access to hammer, or even if you do have access to hammer. And now here we go. We're getting the invis on Blah Monster as this situation begins to unfold. Out comes the knockback ball, the epic one taking a bunch of damage, as the rest of the blue team now going to try to run away. And unfortunately, Kuko going to fail in that regard. As he goes down to the combined burst of the red team, as well as Spinnerism on the back end, getting caught up by Kavo Boy.
Chased him
down.
That's actually a double for Kavo. He got it with the blaze tick at the end.
Oh, really? Okay, so a good double kill coming out of Kavo Boy here. Sitting at 6 and 2. Yeah, so he's making the money. He's got a comfy back for his team, it feels like.
So we're 20 minutes in now. This is actually starting to get a little bit dangerous here for Skull, who apparently died. Do we actually have Snare Bite yet? No, that wasn't a Snare Bite kill. That was just a straight up Blah Monster kill.
That was a straight up, I'm going to come down with double Big Pete's.
And those auto attacks are starting to really tick away at this turret.
Yep.
So again, bad decisions. Oh, not decisions. Bad situation here for No, because it's 20 minutes. Death timers are starting to rack up, and that means that you lose out somebody here. You lose out 2, even 3. team members, you're going to have a bad time. And as you can see here, no turrets now left on the base, and no is pushing into the core.
But they are pushing into the core, maybe a bit greedily as they end up losing one of their members. The Spinorism now trying to kite out the Epic One and do some actual damage. But will he succeed in getting a kill? It doesn't look like it. Oh, he might get it with the blast. The blaster ends up being enough. Now Blah Monster on the run.
He missed.
Oh no, here comes the explosion. It's going to be enough to take out Kuko, but Kuko going to get the return kill on Blah Monster as well. And so, yeah, that's going to be that. So it's a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of Team No. But their core, you know, slowly being chipped away over here by a couple of droids. It's down to half already. If they don't pay
anything there.
Yeah, those droids did a lot of work on their own.
And that was only 2.
Yeah, lesson learned, folks. Do not underestimate the power of little droids. They will murder your base.
So this is a good spot for Meow. They have the solar advantage. The core is open. It's YOLOable at this point, especially for a Hans Coco. If she gets Silver Surfer, like, she could literally come in and then, you know, again, we saw this in the last game. The mind games could come out. The damage could come out. The backdooring could come out, especially for a Hans Coco. But if she gets the Silver Surfer as well, she could just pop in, get some damage, pop out in any lane, and just outdistance her maneuvers.
Absolutely. And, like, that's something that the blue team definitely needs to be aware of. And as a result of that, they really shouldn't be able to push out. If they try to push out, they will get killed for it. Skull just barely going to end up surviving there. Boy now going for the left click onto Kuko. Kuko going to just put out the...
Trinamite.
Yep, there we go. So Kuko going to put out the Cocoon, and the Cocoon's going to be a great setup for a Trinamite kill. Kudos to the Spinorism, and somehow Kuko's still getting the last hit on there. Out comes the Blessing. It's going to end up saving his teammate and a Cocoon, so that's going to be the end of Blah Monster's attempt there. Now the Spinorism trying to chase down the Epic One. The Epic One tossing out a hammer. It's not going to be enough all on its own, and then he's going to jump upstairs. So the Epic One going to end up surviving that particular engagement, and it's just going to be a 1-for-0 pickoff. Meow shouldn't be too worried about that.
That would have actually been a good prediction there from Spinorism to actually jump up, but Epic One actually failed the jump. So he didn't actually end up chasing or killing. But overall, 12-11. Core is still open here for some backdoorsies. I'm not entirely too sure we'll actually see backdoorsies. I mean, you have to be really in the right mindset to try to get that down. And at the same time, you know, they do have that Lone Star. They do have the Genji. They do got the Raylan. So if they do lose out that map presence, you lose out 1 or 2 members here from Meow, you could actually have, you know, the comeback kills and the comeback push from No, because they can just take out the tower.
Speaking of comeback kills and position there, we had a Cocoon coming out on the Epic One, and the Blessing going to reduce the damage that Blah Monster's Explode, doing that to almost nothing. Out comes the bite. It's going to end up landing, but he's taking so much damage. So that's going to be a death on his part. Blue team now going to go ahead and try to see if they can't find a second kill or clean up, but instead they find death. Skull going to end up getting killed there by a collapse from Kavoboy. Now Kavoboy going to back out of there. The Epic One proving to be a very juicy looking tank, and he's going to... They're just going to knock away the Lone Star. So the Spinorism and Kuko going to just limp away with a little bit less HP than the red team. Yeah, that was a trade out. Clunk is coming back though. Kavoboy is up, and there's no Raylan, which means that they just have to deal with Spinorism. They got to deal with Kuko, and she knows where both of them are. So again, I'm a little surprised with the Hans Coco. She's not making a bit more of a play at the core to try to reduce the map presence, to try to, you know, just bring it down. It's down to, I think, five hit point bars, if memory serves. That is a scary, easy amount to chip away in 2 lives. Yep, and it wouldn't take too long either. Just based off of how fast she could potentially be if she decides to pick up the silver coating. But no dice yet. She hasn't picked up the silver coating at all. Well, she doesn't need the silver coating. That's just what... In my mindset, if I was her, that's what I would do. I would just get the distraction, which it seems like the rest of her team is providing. Blah Monster getting off the bike, getting off the Explode. The Explode going to do very little damage because there's no upgrade on the damage there. Upgrade on the hard hat, though, so he's taking less damage, which is one way of looking at it. Anything you can do to live at this point. I mean, basically one team fight is game. For the blue team, yeah. For Team Meow, should be okay. Skull got caught somewhere. Yeah, Skull got caught upstairs. Who knows why Skull was up there, but Skull was up there. Get at it, Kavo. Yep. Get at it. So that's just the last little bits left on the base. Kavo going to get cocooned. The Explode going to come out, not going to do very much of it. The Epic One taking a lot of damage. He goes down. But so does Kavoboy, but at the end of the day, tied up 14-14, the core goes down for the blue team. And as, once again, Meow victory over Team No. I believe it was the same as yesterday. Meow did move on into the brackets. And once again, history is repeated here. 14-14, though, in terms of Solar going back and forth. It's one of our closest games. I think there's only about 300 500, yeah, 500, 600. 500? Yep. Okay, maybe 24, it's not that close 26, then. 25, 26, 23, 21. So it was fairly close in terms of the amount of Solar, so it was only a difference of 2 or 3 upgrades. But Difference of 2 or 3
games.
upgrades, yeah.
Yeah.
Difference of 2 or 3 upgrades is the difference between good execution and bad execution during a team fight as well. And overall, it seemed like people went for builds that made sense. You had...
I didn't call them at all, though. I mean, I guess my mindset was just radically different than that of Meow.
Yeah, no, Meow went for one predictable build in there, and that was Lance into Hammer. Yeah, Hammer.
Can
Lance
you do anything else
Banner.
with Scoop?
Yeah, but I don't recommend it. I've yet to see it be effective, so I want to be proved wrong. But for now, Snipe Hammers and Triple Scoop Banners, that made sense. Yep. But we went straight into left click, which we called the opposite of at the beginning of this match. We thought left click with Time Rift and Cocoons and everything else, and Bull, that was not going to make sense. Instead, it made perfect sense, and Ball came out second. Clunk, seeing a situation unfold, and went, you know what, missiles instead of explode seems like a good idea. And
it worked out for them in the end.
Yeah, it worked out for them in the end. And it's not, and the counter builds coming out of Team No were intelligently done. I honestly believe that the Blessing was a good move.
For sure. Moving
into Cocoon.
Yep.
Was still a pretty good move, and I'm not sure how that ended up working out for them.
Didn't really see like Cocoon lead into big wombos at all.
True, which they could have done had they had a bit more burst on the railing, but she went for Time Rift instead, which was again not a bad move at all.
They had to zone out the Clunk.
Yeah, they had to zone out the Clunk, and because of that change of pace, it ended up working out for them. But that split push that we talked about didn't end up happening. So
yeah, there's no split push. I was expecting knockback ball on the squishies into snare bites. I mean, Scoop is Scoop. I didn't really expect to do anything different.
I was expecting Team No to...
There's a lot of ways to play this game. And, one mindset might not be another mindset. So, that's the strategy I saw. It's not what we saw executed. This obviously worked out well enough. They got the victory. They move on to the round of 64. So
Team Meow.
Whatever works.
Yeah, Team Meow going to go ahead and move onwards. No, unfortunately, we're not going to see them again for a little while. They're out of qualifier number 4.
We're not going to see them. This is the last qualifier.
Well, yeah, but we might see them in another tournament.
We might, but that's outside of the scope of today.
Yeah, exactly. So, Meow, moving on. And now we start covering rounds of 64 in our next matchup.
Yeah, which we do have. If I recall, it was... I don't actually remember the names. We already showed you guys them a little bit. We are going to jump into that game here as our first coverage here, round 64 for the Alienware Awesome Cup Qualifier number 4. So we'll see. Who will move on? Will it be Team Red? Will it be Team Blue? Who knows? But 4-Core Jester and Slow Wolf will be here, so hopefully you'll join us.